Hello everyone, welcome back to another contrast paint video, and we have a very large subject today. This is the Tau Stormsurge. I don't remember what numbers go in front of it. I can check because I can cheat. I've got the box up here. It is the XV128 Stormsurge. Many people might say that this is not a model you should be using contrast paint on. In fact, I specifically saw people saying you should never touch an Imperial Knight with contrast paint. Generally speaking, the main purpose of contrast paint is to very quickly finish hordes like Orc Boys, Tyranid Gaunts, that kind of thing. That does not mean that's the only purpose for contrast paint. It has other applications, and I have a very brief story to tell about this Stormsurge in particular before we get started today. I will also go into why it's missing some appendages in a second, but I pre-ordered this, I'm pretty sure. Definitely bought it at release, don't remember for sure if I pre-ordered it. That was 3, maybe 4 years ago. How long has the Stormsurge existed? Love the miniature. I just love mechs in general, and this particular design is a nice mix between like mech warrior with a little bit more of the Eastern armored core style mixed in. Right up my alley, love the model, bought it instantly. It's been sitting on my shelf in its box, not even assembled, since I bought it. And the reason for that is, when it's a big miniature, when it's a miniature that you really like, if you're not very good at painting, it's very, very intimidating to even attempt it, because you know it's never going to turn out as good as it is on the box, or as good as you've seen other people do on Reddit or YouTube, etc. So it just leads to you just leaving it tucked away to forget about. But with contrast paint, yeah, you're still not going to do it as well as someone who actually knows what they're doing, but it makes it so much more appealing to just get in there and get stuck in and do it with a model that will end up maybe being slightly better looking than if I was just doing it in standard paint style. So that is why we're trying to take on the Stormsurge. Also, to speed things up a little bit, and because the camera is a little awkward, my painting space is very small, so I'm working with what I have here. We're trying to just do the main body, but if I move this to one side for a second, I have pre-prepared certain parts of it. I've already painted the pulse driver cannon, so that is done in contrast and lead belcher with a little bit of Macragge blue. Also have done the, well, he doesn't have arms, he has like missile pods, again done in contrast, Blood Angels red, Black Templar black, a little bit of Yandin yellow, Macragge blue for the missiles, that's the joining part, and then just lead belcher and non oil, sorry, over the lead belcher as well. And then there's the other arm with the shield generator, more rockets, burst cannons on the bottom, and again silver, lead belcher. Essentially what we'll be doing to the main body. We'll bring that back and it'll probably refocus, so bear with me. So we are going to mostly just be using my favourite contrast paint, the Blood Angels red, a little bit of the Black Templar once that's been tidied up probably. Also going to be using some Basilicum grey on the 3 rocks on the base. That was a long intro, but I felt I had to get that off my chest a little bit because I've been seeing a lot of snootiness regarding people who use contrast paints when looked down upon by, granted, talented people who prefer the more traditional style. Anyway, let's get started. So apologies, the time lapse cut off a little bit early. My camera overheated because I'm recording this on the hottest day the UK has ever had, ever. So, my bad, but I'm going to keep this brief in terms of additional parts. But that's the contrast, Blood Angels Red, applied en masse, messily, but we're going to do some cleaning up around these sections, also the insignia, the toe rims, and then we're going to go over those with contrast Black Templar. And then after that, it's just going to be traditional paint, I think. A lot of lead belcher, etc. The colours that are on the other parts, plus known oil. So we'll come back, not necessarily going to do a time lapse for the Black Templar stuff, we'll see. But I'll at least come back for an additional step before we move on to the finished thing. So there wasn't many black bits to do, but here we are with that done. So now there's going to be another quick cut, and we're going to finish the body just by using a lot of lead belcher, a little bit of Balthazar Gold and Nuln Oil over the both of those, and maybe some Iyanden yellow contrast for the pupils on the robot faces up at the top. And then we'll do one more cut to actually do the finished thing. So checking in, we're almost done with the model now. That's basically the central body done with the silver parts. That's flash kits yellow. Didn't bother putting the Iyanden yellow over it yet because it's going to have to dry first. But lead belcher with Nuln Oil on top, and that is basically it. The fang was used on the base there, but we're going to be coming back one more time for the extremities being put on the arms and the main cannon. I'll finish the base as well, and we'll take a look at the finished result, maybe compare it to next closest thing I've got is a Riptide, so we'll compare it to that in terms of final finish for someone who can't paint. Back in a second for that. So here a little while later is the finished thing, although the base is still drying with the washes and PVC glue I used on it, etc. Did it turn out well? It turned out better than the alternative had contrast paint not existed, because this would still have been in its box on my shelf probably for years to come. We can sort of spin it. Keep in mind I'm working with a small amount of space here, but we can try and just give you the old 360 view of what it looks like from most of the angles with the arms and whatnot attached. It's also going to feature in the next 40k battle report we do, I think, once we're sure it's done. Might touch some stuff up, like little bits where there's a little bit of spillage of the Nuln Oil or the red, etc. But for comparison's sake, if we just slightly move that to the side, this is a Riptide that was done in standard paint, darker shade of red, even though it's basically the same red used on top, because this was based in Abaddon Black, not Grey Seer, which is something I keep forgetting to mention these days. Grey Seer was the contrast base, as always. So in terms of finish, it looks about the same, which is fine by me, because for a model of this size, for it to have been done in, I mean, not counting drying time, 2 hours, I want to say? Probably even less than that, actually. I think I'm overestimating. But still, it's a Stormsurge. It's been done in contrast. There is a rough comparison of a Riptide done in normal Citadel paint. They are similar. They'll probably be seen together real soon. So that's going to do it for this one. I apologise again for the first time skip timing out, as it were, because of my camera overheating in this absurd heat we're existing in right now. Hope you enjoyed though. There'll be more videos to come in the future of other things being painted in contrast paint. Also check out the battle reports if you want. Thank you very much for watching this one though, and I will see you next time. Ta-ta for now.